And with that, laces were tied and we took to the floor for an all skate. Roller skating wasn't new in the 80s, but it was big during the Gen Experience. I'm Victor and I was there at the Roll Arena and skating up and down my streets in tube socks up to my knees. Please click that like if you enjoy a trip down memory lane, and even subscribe for more awesome content like this from the greatest generation. Roller skating may have become popular between the 30s and the 50s with a lot of innovation. But in the late 70s and early 1980s, you didn't have to be in a roller derby to enjoy the carefree whisking around the neighborhood in your own pair of skates. Some of the easiest and least expensive skates to own were the strap-on kind that needed a skate key. As these hard, angular, and dangerous metal extensions to your feet were adjustable, a peculiar shaped key would help tighten and lock them into place snugly on your footwear. You'd better leave it attached somewhere, as the old strap-ons would be deemed useless without the necessary item and were often simply lost. A lot of roller disco skaters' dreams died because their skates didn't have a key. Easily made and inexpensive, this form of skate was phased out when full shoes integrated with wheels became available. If you need an example of just how popular roller skating was becoming at the time, there was an entire song about it in 1972, A Brand New Key by Melody. But the skating sensation would soon take over the screens, small and big. If you were serious about your skating, you had the sneaker version that looked like regular tennis shoes with wheels and the all-too-important stopper coming right out of the bottom supports. This low rise was easier for jamming, a style that incorporated trick skating like various jumps and moonwalking, and became popular on the streets in the 70s. Skate dancing was a thing, but they wore the high-top shoes like ice skaters until the dawn of the roller disco. Inspired by the current disco music, the skating rinks were a new kind of discotheque nightclub, integrating both disco dancing and roller skating later in the decade. So then you needed the lower-rise shoe for more groovier moves. Skating rinks were always used for leisure, but speed skating and roller derby had grown in popularity. But by this time, roller derby had left its competitive past and taken on an entertainment sports type atmosphere, like the scripted WWE of the same period. It was a perfect time for the precise, almost breakdancing tricks of jamming to merge into the new levels of control and fluidity that would replace skate dancing with roller disco. These rages even made appearances in TV and movies and fueled our fascination for the pastime. Facts of Life in 1979 had a main character who was always rolling about on skates. Even if it was to make the 9-year-old Kim Fields look more like the 12-year-old Tootie character, it was gaining traction. And in 1979 as well, Roller Boogie the movie came out and cemented the popularity of the craze. Xanadu may be the most famous. Olivia Newton-John led this film with a fantastic soundtrack by ELO with various dance numbers and roller skating. The end was a full-fledged roller disco production number. It was 1980 and should have been a showstopper. Too bad the movie's writing sucked. Or it might have been more memorable. But then again, it holds the cult classic status where Roller Boogie the movie is mostly forgotten. We all thought we could be one of those trick skaters or skate Saturday Night Fever style like the biggest celebrities of the time, with all the fog and the lighting effects under the disco ball at the local rink. Most of us settled on simply propelling ourselves forward and around the wood track just for the cool sensation of floating on our wheels at higher and higher speeds, while adhering to the current call from the lit sign on the wall that would direct us to what was permitted on the floor at the time. Reverse, where you would change direction of flow. Couples only, where partners could showcase their roller disco moves. Special, to highlight moves of the more talented skaters. And boy or girls only, where keen-eyed spectators might find a partner for couples only, if you know what I mean. But generally, it was the all skate, and the usual show-offs would zip by you skating backwards, still providing dominance by demonstrating classic tricks like spread eagle or grapevine, while we were content with careening around the track trying to perfect our cornering. Were you a roller disco skater or even a jammer in the day? Put your memories of the roller rink or your skating prowess in the comments below. Skating wasn't reserved for only the rink. Skating was everywhere. It was a popular pastime of the era and was done for exercise, but mostly to socialize. You'd see skating at the park and down the street, anywhere to meet other like-minded fun seekers. Perhaps on the strip, downtown, the corner of the neighborhood. No matter where, it wouldn't be long before someone busted a move, like the 1 foot skating backwards or even a waltz jump to tunes blaring from a boombox. Along with these gatherings, the roller skating fashions were a sight to behold. There was trendy skatewear to make others jealous or thirsty, as this was a subgenre, at least for a little while. But we also just did it for fun and to waste time. Perhaps you roller skated down the sidewalk to the local drugstore, enjoying the simple gliding as you pumped your legs forward and back for propulsion before coasting to your destination, and maybe even trying a spin or two at the same time, trying to master the use of the toe stopper in the front. We skated everywhere, but never in the house. Maybe you skated to school, but you wouldn't be allowed to wear them in class. That is, unless you had a pair of pop wheels, which seemed only to market to the female skater and popped out of a stacked sandal. Yes, there were wheelies before wheelies, to boogie on the go, to flirt at school, or just make a quick exit. For a handful of years, the roller rink was the place to host a Gen X birthday party. Rented skates were there, the right music, and out-of-this-world decor, plus the concession stand accompanied your cake and the presents. If it wasn't a pool party birthday, it was at the roll arena. How about you? Did you have a roller skating birthday? It wasn't long before the roller disco rage and disco music as a whole faded away. Roller derby would also take a quiet backseat until revitalizing decades later. But the rinks just kept spinning, and spinning records, continuing to play modern music instead of going back to the classic organ accompaniment that had first inhabited the domed arenas in the golden era before the disco fad blew up. The indelible mark roller skating had on the masses was quite huge. Even if the rage was short-lived, the lack of roller disco left rinks to be populated with the general skater. Siblings, friends, families, dates, we all continued to skate in circles in the comfort of the climate-controlled environment to what many of us would consider the roller rink soundtrack of our lives. You may all have your own skating playlist, but there is no song that takes me back more than Nothing Gonna Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder. I can't call it a one-hit wonder as I remember it only at the skating rink, but I longed for it, probably requested it as it got me in the skating zone to just let loose. Many of the Gen Experience viewers chimed in with what tunes topped their roller skate playlist. The Tide is High, Lookout Weekend, Another One Bites the Dust, Celebrate, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Saturday Night, Do You Wanna Funk, Beat It, or any Michael Jackson song, and of course, the Laserphonic Fantasy, which is the Star Wars Disco Remix. It seems like no matter your jam on the floor, so many of these seem to have only existed and live on within the walls of the Rollerdrome. While doing your best to spin to a stop, you could still witness tricks and holdovers from the previous but fading era. It never failed to impress to see a talented skater go by as you secretly wanted to learn those skills and impress your friends and possibly a special someone out on the floor with a little shooting the duck or with your perfected spinning techniques. Even utilizing the spiral patterns on the floor to help would-be trick skaters with their complex moves. Did you ever use the painted lines? How many of you even remember them being there? Skating as something to pass the time has passed, even as inline skates rose in popularity as healthy exercise in the 90s. Those updated and sleek design trends also faded, along with the required fanny packs. We didn't have pockets, we were all wearing Lycra shorts, until we realized all that was just poor decision making. But the roll arena still exists, as do hundreds of skating rinks around the country where families might spend an afternoon together. Although derby has returned to its competitive origins in some places, the height of the skating popularity will never be at the all-time high it once was, where young people would gather to show their athletic abilities and popular dance moves on the rink, or the sight of a group of kids on skates in the neighborhood or skating to 7-Eleven were common, and will only now garner a pleasant look of surprise. I don't think it'll go extinct, but much of it has been relegated to strictly health endeavors or specialty acts you have to look for. Lucky for us, you can still skate if you want to, and if you are brave or foolish enough, you might even try a sow cow, or the famous shoot the duck or two. Then again, at this age, we might just be taking out a hip. Skating was so prevalent at one time, and I love thinking back to my blue and white sneaker skates. Do you remember yours? What are your memories of skating fun? Please share in the comments and then check out another great show from the channel like this one. Don't forget to like and click that subscribe button for more great times from the Gen Experience. Until next time.